Estamos en esta ocasión con Devin Oliver, parte de I See Stars, quienes se presentan en Guadalajara. How are you, Devin?
I'm very good. How are you?
Fine, fine. I know that New Demons is like 1 year old, but I would like to ask a couple of questions about this album. First of all, how was the songwriting process for this record compared to your previous release?
Writing this record was actually one of the probably one of the most stress-free situations when it came to writing a record. Mainly because after Digital Renegade, I feel like we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do and what kind of music we wanted to pursue. And I think that's the most difficult thing about being in a band is, trying to figure out what music fits your group, in your name. I don't think you go into it really knowing exactly what you want to do. And when we wrote Digital Renegade, it was like, yes, this is it. Like we were just super stoked on that record, and so going into New Demons, it was almost just like, okay, now we know what we want to do, so how do we perfect it? And that was kind of the mindset that we went into it. You'd think it'd be stressful, but it's really not. It's actually really fun, when you know what you want to do as a group, and you know what kind of music you love to play, and you just go into you go to the studio and you try to put together something that best defines that sound.
It's also a big evolution since your first record to this one. And how much do you guys get involved in the production process of your records?
We are 110% involved in the production in all of our records, especially Digital Renegade and New Demons. There's very intricate and complex electronics going on throughout the entire record in New Demons and in Digital Renegade. And I have to give a lot of the credit to my brother Andrew, who plays drums. He's very good at sound designing, and he actually has built a lot of great relationships over the last couple of years with a lot of other sound designers, and we kind of collab, but we always start off with the idea is always there from the beginning. No one writes for this band when it comes to like our electronics and our music. It's really Joey Sturgis. He does a very good job at just adding and really detailing the songs, from start to finish. But we go into the studio pretty much knowing what we're going to come out with, and I think that's important, because if you love what you're going in with, you're going to love it even more what you come out with, because you got these raw ideas. If you love them, then they're going to sound even better. You can't polish a turd. That's what we say in the music business. So.
And Murder Mitten sounds like a very personal song. Can you tell us what's behind the song?
Yeah, I'd say that's the most personal song lyrically me and my brother have ever written. It's actually about my mom and her struggle with alcoholism and how it led her to not so great place in life, and she kind of was coming out of it during the recording process of that album, and it inspired me to tell the story because there was a light at the end of it all, so it talks about a very dark topic, and how her alcoholism kind of destroyed our family, but it's okay because she's better now, and it made me feel more comfortable talking about it through my lyrics, and I really love it, and I love that people love it. I love that it's become the most popular song on the record, and it really does make me feel good, and it makes me feel, I guess, more open to writing more open to writing more personally,
You also do a lot of tours. You go around the world. You're now in Mexico. And what do you think is the most that you learn from being on touring?
Well, I started touring when I was 15, so I feel like over touring that young, it kind of forced me to grow up a little faster than most 15-year-olds would. You're introduced to all sorts of different things, all sorts of different parts of the world, and dangerous in the world, and just as much as beauty in the world, So you really are kind of forced to kick your own ass and grow up a little bit faster than you intended. But it was a good thing for me. I mean, I had tour's done a really big number on me as a human being, and as somebody that loves and cares for other people, and learns to appreciate what I have in front of me, being able to tour, being able to meet people, just being able to have people out there that love my music is such a unexplainable, I don't know, godsend. It's just like I feel so lucky I don't take it for granted any day I'm out here. I mean, I'm in Mexico for the first time ever, and I never thought I would ever take my music internationally, you know. So the fact that it's continuing to grow, and I'm continuing to you know, cross borders and go into different areas, and there's people that are coming out to the show that want to meet me and want me to sign their stuff. It's incredible, and I just feel like a brat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so lucky, and I hope that everybody knows, everybody out there that comes out to these shows knows that I love them so much for just listening, you know. So anything else outside of listening, coming to my shows, buying our record, whatever it may be, it's like those are just pluses. The fact that they found some sort of love for my music, that is all I asked for going into this. So
If you could do a tour with any band you like, if it's together, if they're not, if they're alive, if they're not alive, which bands would you choose?
You know, I have such a diverse liking in music that I love everything. I love everything from 30 Seconds to Mars to, you know, to Skrillex, even, you know, to Calvin Harris, to Of Mice and Men, to We Came as Romans, to Day to Remember, to, you know, I like all of the music spectrum. There's no boundaries for me. So my lineup, if I was putting together a tour, would be so disoriented, and there'd be so many different kinds of people coming to this show, and I think they'd be looking around being like, what the fuck kind of show is this? But I would have to say I would definitely love to tour with 30 Seconds to Mars. I love that band. I love Bring Me the Horizon. I think that band's incredible. I also really like, you know, I really like Skrillex. I really like, you know, Conditions. I don't know if you've ever heard of Conditions. They didn't really, I feel like they didn't hit their peak, but they're such an incredible band. And I love Search the City, another band that never really took their music to as great of heights as they probably could have reached, but they're such an incredible band. The list goes on. And Dead, I mean, like, God, man, you know, I love Sublime. I love, I mean, I love the Beatles. I grew up like old school, you know. My parents, my dad was in like a cover band, so he was a huge Beach Boys, you know, Beatles, and that whole spectrum. So I love that, all that stuff. And I would love Steel Panther. I'd love to play with Steel Panther too, just because they're crazy. So like I said, I mean, my love for music doesn't end. It goes wherever it goes, and it's not like I shun myself out to any music. And I encourage other people to do that, because if you shut yourself off to a particular type of music because it may not be your style, you're shutting yourself off to so much, and I think that's something you need to cut out.
Well, in the show we talk about video games, comic books, movies. Is there any video game, comic book, or movie you would like to recommend to our audience?
I really like Call of Duty Nazi Zombies is like one of my favorites. It's honestly one of my only. I don't really play too many video games, but I do like Nazi Zombies. I've gotten to a pretty incredible round, which is round 58, and not too many people beat that, because it took me 3 days to do it. I was on tour, and I had our Xbox set up in our bus, and I got to round 58. This took 3 days of me just pausing. Like, for instance, I'd be playing it, and then it's about an hour before the show, so I'd pause, warm up, play the show, get off stage, clean up, then I'm playing it again. It was nuts. I didn't die. I actually had to turn the game off, because everyone in my band was like, all right, seriously, you've been hogging the TV for 3 days, you got to be done. And I was like, all right. So I went out on top. I probably could have gone a little further, but I didn't. Let's see, video games. I love Pokemon Blue and Red on Game Boy. I think those are like the coolest. I think nothing can beat those. I also like the Simpsons arcade game, the old school one. You know, you have 4 people, and you go and you know, cruise the town. Comic books. I've never been like a huge comic book guy. I did really like the Flash. I feel like he's such an underrated superhero, and that was the only comic book character I've ever like read into. I was never really huge on comic books. What was the other one? Movies. I like Limitless, Wolf of Wall Street. I just watched Gone Girl. I went and seen it before I came to Mexico. That's a really good one. I'm more of a TV show kind of guy. Like, I just watched True Detective on Netflix. I mean, not on Netflix, HBO. I really like Californication. That's on Netflix. If you're a guy, that's a good show to watch. Girls, not so much. If you're a girl, watch Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I mean, I can go on forever about that.